She had the world at her feet, a viral hit, magazine covers, and Grammy buzz. In 2023, South African singer Tyla was being hailed as the next global pop princess. Her single Water flooded the charts, but the wave she was riding didn't last. Somewhere between all of the performances and awkward interviews, things began to shift. Tyla's career shows what happens when authenticity collides with global misinterpretation, and the crowd that once screamed your name starts whispering about your downfall. Before we jump into the real reason Tyla is flopping, don't forget to scoop up something to munch on at rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand that has an assortment of Applewood smoked bacon jerky, freeze-dried goodies, and butter toffee peanuts. According to Billboard charts, Tyla's breakout single Water was a global force. The track reached #1 on the U.S. Afrobeats Songs chart and broke into the top 10 on the Billboard Global 200. In the United States alone, it was certified 3 times platinum. For a new artist, especially one from South Africa, this was a career-defining moment. In an interview with Billboard, Tyla expressed how surreal the success felt. She described the experience as groundbreaking for a South African artist born and raised in South Africa with an African song with an African dance style. She spoke proudly about the authenticity of it all, explaining how amazed she was that her sound could translate overseas without compromise. But the part she didn't see coming was this: her personality, her commentary, and her presentation wouldn't translate with the same ease, especially not in the US. While the song caught fire, the artist behind it slowly became a question mark. Her interviews began circulating for the wrong reasons, and the confident image she once projected started to crack under scrutiny. Only months later, in December 2023, Tyla attracted some major controversy. According to the BBC, Tyla created a culture war when one of her old TikToks surfaced. In it, she wore her hair in Bantu knots and sported a traditional beaded necklace as the words "I am a colored South African" appeared proudly on the screen. It was the word colored that threw off Black Americans. But in South Africa, colored is a formal racial classification, and for many, a proud cultural identity born from a messy cocktail of colonialism and apartheid. According to the BBC and Rolling Stone UK, Tyla identifies as having Zulu, Indian, Mauritian, and Irish roots. So she wasn't rejecting Blackness, she was presenting her specific South African experience. But Black Americans weren't having it. In the US, the word colored drips with Jim Crow-era trauma. It evokes whites-only signs and segregated drinking fountains. Psychological studies on racial trauma show how language can reactivate generational pain. So while Tyla was trying to represent nuance, the US heard a slur. Social media users dragged Tyla by those Bantu knots.
Bestie, you're so damn messy, girl. Oh, Lord, not dragging about the Bantu knots, child.
People accused her of trying to distance herself from Blackness while profiting from it. Her braids and her beat drops were acceptable, but her refusal to simply say, "I'm Black," made people suspicious. South Africans defended her, accusing Americans of ethnocentric thinking. But perception is personal, and the global stage doesn't come with cultural disclaimers. You don't get to explain your context in real time, and when you're silent too long, others will fill in the blanks for you. In April 2024, Tyla spoke to Cosmopolitan about the controversy. She said she was glad people were having the conversation around race and identity and learning that Africa is more than just black and white. She added, "Just that I grew up as a South African knowing myself as colored. I'm also mixed race. I'm also Black." Cool, but fans weren't looking for philosophy. They wanted clarity. There's a psychological theory called cognitive dissonance. It says people get uncomfortable when they can't make sense of something. Tyla's explanation didn't bridge the gap between her intentions and her audience's interpretation. Instead, it deepened it. Her identity felt like a puzzle no one asked to solve. She wanted to start a conversation, but to many, it felt like a cop-out. Then came the infamous June 2024 Breakfast Club interview. Charlemagne the God lobbed her a softball question by asking her to explain the whole colored person fiasco.
And when I go home, I'm just home with my family.
All right.
So, yeah.
School me on these debates that they be having about your identity as a South African colored person. What does that even mean?
Can we not, por favor?
Oh, I like that. We keeping that in the interview too.
Shut up, man.
I like when they talk from the back and say we can't. I like that. I like that. That's good. That's even better.
Next one, please.
That's even better.
You're stupid, yo.
Tyla sat there with her mouth shut during the entire exchange. Of course, the incident went viral, and Tyla responded in the way she could best on X, of all places. She wrote that she never denied being black and reminded people that race is regional. In the US, she's black. In South Africa, she's colored. She closed her statement by saying, "I'm both colored and a black woman." Tyla wrote that she also didn't expect to be identified as colored by people who didn't feel comfortable with it. For many, that was the final straw. Instead of softening hearts, it made people feel like she was doubling down. At the 2024 MTV VMA show, Tyla won the award for Best Afrobeat Song for Water. Should have been a happy time, right? Wrong. Tyla managed to spark massive controversy.
Oh my gosh. You guys know me and holding awards. I'm not strong enough. Please. Are you able to offer me? Yes, thank you. I'm sorry.
In other words, she wanted Lil Nas X or Halle to hold her award for her.
Hold these nuts, Tyla.
People were outraged and wanted to know who Tyla thought she was, where she couldn't even hold her own doggone award. Afterward, Tyla took to X to write, "Y'all make everything weird." But still, people couldn't let it go. They said she was acting like the trophy was beneath her, physically and metaphorically. Almost a year later, Tyla defended herself to British Vogue magazine. She said Lil Nas X was her friend, and she wanted his help because the award was very heavy.
What a weak ass. Honey, I bet you I could hold up an award presented to me, baby. If it took both hands, baby, if I had to wrap it up under my arm like a doggone, potato sack, I'm gonna hold my award, honey.
And then in September 2024, Tyla hit the stage with Usher, and they danced to Water. However, when Usher got a little too close, Tyla pivoted and moved away. And once again, she received a ton of backlash. The body language was subtle, but the internet caught it. People called her disrespectful, saying she didn't understand the assignment. Dancing with Usher was a cosign, and Tyla acted like it was a chore. Is Tyla an industry plant? That question has been quietly floating through timelines and group chats for months now. On the surface, she checks every box of what the music industry loves to manufacture. Stunning visuals, trend-driven sound, major label backing, and a carefully curated brand that feels more commercial than personal. But when you peel back the glossy layers, the idea of Tyla being an industry plant starts to feel less like a conspiracy theory and more like a plausible strategy. Let's start with how she entered the scene. She didn't organically rise through the ranks of South Africa's local music circuit, gaining traction with raw performances and building a cult following over time. She was introduced to the world with slick production, perfect lighting, and global distribution. From the jump, everything felt ready-made. Water exploded out of nowhere, bolstered by viral choreography and aggressive playlisting. The song had all the markers of a hit, but lacked the organic journey typically found in breakout tracks. There was no basement shows, no mixtape grind, no visible hustle, just a beautiful girl with a catchy song who suddenly had the full weight of a major label machine behind her. Her debut album only sold 24,000 copies in its first week, and yet the powers that be thought it was a good idea for Tyla to go on tour. 2 weeks before the tour was scheduled to start, the European leg of the tour was postponed, and the North American leg was canceled due to an injury Tyla was dealing with.
In other words, wasn't nobody buying them damn tickets. That's what you're saying. I believe that's what you're saying. Who going to see Tyla on tour? Nobody. Child, please.
Then there's the rollout. Tyla's visuals have been immaculate. Her styling, music video concepts, and brand partnerships seem more fitting for a pop star in her third album cycle, not someone still proving themselves. Everything is strategic. She's constantly referred to as a global sensation, which is a term that would probably be used to describe an entertainer like Beyoncé, not Tyla. Whether she's an industry plant or not, that doesn't mean she's not talented. However, until she delivers depth beyond the branding, the industry plant label will remain. In July 2025, Tyla found herself in the middle of some more mess when two producers sued her over royalties and credits for her song Water. They alleged that they were cut out of what they were rightfully owed and claimed the situation had damaged not only their income, but also their professional reputations. As of this video, the case is still pending. She has released 4 songs in 2025, and only one of them, her song Dynamite with Wizkid, made the US charts. So it's pretty clear that Americans are sick of Tyla and her music. Because at the end of the day, audiences can spot manufactured hype from a mile away. The novelty has worn off, and what's left is an artist still trying to figure out who she is beyond viral moments and aesthetic-heavy branding. While international fans may still be rooting for her, the US market doesn't have the patience for surface-level artistry, especially not in an industry already saturated with more dynamic, better developed performers. Listeners want growth, grit, and a narrative they can invest in. And when the music doesn't evolve, neither does the fan base. Her team can keep forcing collaborations, rolling out glossy visuals, and leaning on TikTok trends, but if there's no substance behind the strategy, it all eventually falls flat. If you enjoyed this video, let us know down below. And thanks for watching RRG.